I'm here from Fibonacci-Traders.com here. Daily market recap, still Kopangan, Thailand vacation mode. We are working. Like, subscribe and stay tuned for the rest of the video. CPI numbers came out higher than expected, and what do we got? 1.4% to the downside overall. Zoom in, this is how the day started with a gap to the downside below the yellow zone on the 65 minutes. Sell signal below the red zone, below the red line. 490 held. We talked about that this gap at the 494 needs to get filled. We filled it. 490 is holding, yellow zone holding. Now let's see, can bulls of the SPY hold above the yellow zone for the rest of the week? We are still in an uptrend channel. QQQ 1.55, 56 to the downside. Doji overall, this is how it looks intraday. 65 minutes. Gap to the downside below the yellow zone for the 65 minutes. Sell signal, red line, but held. The 425 held the lower band of this uptrend channel, the 65 minutes. We are still in an uptrend. It's still a bull's market. Do not try now to catch the top, because maybe it's not a top. Maybe it's only a pullback. Healthy pullback. Dow Jones also overall holding above the yellow zone on the daily. Not surprising, 1.36% to the downside. This is the intraday, 65 minutes. Always zoom in, zoom out, and then you will get a better point of view of price action. Broke to the downside, gap to the downside, and then throughout the day held the 380 area. Below it, we will see 378 and 375. Overall, red A all across the board. Look at the IWM, Russell 2000, 4% to the downside. I don't remember when we saw last time 4% to the downside on the Russell. Last time was, I cannot even see it on the chart. But this is why we always say the yellow zone is the most important zone of support and resistance. According to the FTI version 5, one click away, you have everything that you need on the chart. We can adjust the lines a little bit better. Everything is according to the Fibonacci ratios, Fibonacci numbers, Fibonacci sequence. We have support, resistance for future price action. We have channels, trend lines according to the Fibonacci. This is not relevant yet. Overall, IWM struggling with the yellow zone. Magnificent 7 ETF, MAGS 1.6% to the downside, not surprising, but we are still in an uptrend channel above the yellow zone. We are still above a buy signal. Even with this 1.6% to the downside, the FTI version 5 did not give us a sell signal, which means we are still good to go long at the Magnificent 7, SOXX 2% to the downside. We got ourselves the sell signal. It doesn't mean that we need to go short on SOXX. It just means one thing only. If we are already long, and as you can see, uptrend channel predicting with more than 85% accuracy, up to 85% accuracy, where price might be heading next, we got a sell signal, because it tells us that with this red day, after a doji, we might consider taking some profits and managing our stop loss a little bit more tighter, because once we hit the 599, this yellow zone, and closing below it, we will retest the 587 and then 575, breaking below the uptrend channel. It means that the FTI, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the FTI gives us buy sell signals also to help us manage our positions, our open positions. Not only how to open new ones, it also helps us to manage already open positions. Look at the KRE, nothing much, 4.2% to the downside, holding the 45. This 45 will not hold much more longer, in my opinion, and then this gap at the 44 and this gap at the 41.60 will get filled. Bitcoin, who's a Bitcoin? After several days running to the upside, taking a rest, pretty healthy. We are still above the yellow zone, above a buy signal, above the green line. 47,800 was the resistance over here, now holding a support. Long continuation above the 5400, and then we will meet 57,600 and 69 to the upside, the upper band of this option channel. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? When and if we will meet the 70K on Bitcoin, Ethereum also. Not surprising, bulls of Ethereum after several days. Look at this, 8 consecutive bull run days. Now bulls are taking a rest. Where Ethereum might be heading next, we don't need to break our head. We have the yellow zone from resistance, now holding a support, needs to hold the support. Long continuation above the 27,220, and then we have all these levels for next future resistance. Just take 1 second, hit the like, hit the subscribe, will be much appreciated. This is the only thing I truly need. Just like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos, and most importantly, you will not miss everyday pre-market preparations. 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we prepare together chart requests, Q&As, anything that you need to be fully prepared for the next trading day. So don't forget the notification bell. Meta overall 1.9% to the downside, but holding strong. The 455 area, this area holding pretty strong. Below it 430, and then closing the week below and inside this yellow zone. This gap, the earnings gap, 90% chance will get filled, but long continuation, we are still in this uptrend channel prediction from the FTI version 5. Long continuation above 484, and then you have all the Fibonacci levels for future resistance. Tesla 2.2% to the downside, basically moving sideways. 194 resistance, 175 support, below a strong sell signal, selling pressure, downtrend channel below 175. Where Tesla might be heading next, don't break your head. 150 and closing this gap at the 146. In my opinion, this gap must get filled if we want to see bulls of Tesla taking control. First, bulls of Tesla need to give bears of Tesla to close this gap. Otherwise, we will not see significant move to the upside on Tesla. Microsoft 2.15% to the downside, closed the day with a doji. This is how Microsoft moved inside day, gap to the downside, and then basically sideways move. 403 holding. As you can see, the 403, very important area of support on the 65 minutes. And Microsoft broke below the uptrend channel, below 402, 403. You have all these levels for future support. I want to see Microsoft getting back inside the 410, this yellow zone, And the FTI, as you can see, it's working on any time frame, on anything that you want to trade. Apple, once again, broke below the yellow zone. And what do we have now? We are still in an uptrend channel since October, but if you zoom in, what do you see? Downtrend on Apple. This is why we always need to zoom in, zoom out. 65 minutes on Apple. We have this high, we have lower high. Resistance of the FTI yellow zone, breaking below the 183, 181 and back to the 179 on the daily. If we will break the 179, 174 and 168 to the downside, we have a double top scenario still in play. We have lower highs, lower lows. If this channel will break to the downside, we will enter a new downtrend channel. On the daily, on Apple, careful on Apple, Nvidia, relative strength. This Nvidia, this monster, is not giving up. Bulls of Nvidia holding strong inside this channel, the channel that takes us 914 and maybe even 1187 on Nvidia. Everybody's asking me, what do you think about Nvidia? Overpriced, overbought, I don't know. I don't think. I follow what the market thinks. And if the market thinks that Nvidia is worth 721, so this is what Nvidia worth. Let's see where Nvidia takes us up to earnings next Wednesday. Google 1.6% to the downside, back inside the yellow zone. Overall, still inside the uptrend channel. For now, nothing much on Google. I want to see a weekly close above the 147, and then we will start taking maybe a long position towards this gap over here. Amazon 2% to the downside, holding strong inside an uptrend channel above the yellow zone, but look at the FTI. This is the amazing thing about the FTI. It gave us a sell signal. Why? Because we broke below a very important area of support. This support, the 169, 168 area, very important area of support. 169 was a very important area of support since earnings gap up. Now we broke below it, which means careful. It doesn't mean that we need to go short on Amazon. We just need to ask ourselves why the FTI gave us this. We still need to know some basics, technical analysis, if we want to use FTI version 5. It just helps us to translate the market's language much better. We still need to understand candlesticks. We still need to understand the market language, which is price action, and the FTI help us to translate it much better than we can do. Still above the yellow zone, weekly close below it, and this gap will get filled. Shopify post earnings 13.4% to the downside. 13. You guessed it right. Fibonacci level. Everything surrounds Fibonacci in life and in trading. Everything surrounds Fibonacci. Broke below the yellow zone. Now, bulls of Shopify must hold inside this channel. Breaking below 70.61 is next. Below 70.61, this gap at the 62.30 will get filled, because we know that more than 85-90% of all gaps, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Netflix, relative strength, holding above the 544, 550 area, moving sideways. We are still above the yellow zone. We are still above a buy signal. All good in Netflix land. AMD holding strong. Same as Nvidia. AMD holding strong, very strong. As you can see, the lower band of this uptrend channel holding here, 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 and here. And everything the FTI version 5 give us. If you want this amazing tool, the ultimate trading tool on your chart, just check the links in the description below and check the first comment. You will find all the links and all the information that you need about the Fibonacci Traders Discord and how to use and how to apply the FTI version 5 on your chart. Overall, AMD still inside an uptrend channel above the yellow zone. We are still long on AMD. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell because we are going live every day, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, preparing for the next trading day. Until then, stay safe.